Good evening, BookTube, YouTube. This is Johnny. I thought I'd stop by and make a little video down the lower level. As you all know, the lower level is the main library and where I write and I read and listen to classical music and look at my books. So I'm down here because probably go to bed in about an hour now. It is 10:08 here in West Michigan. It is a Wednesday night, December the 22nd. Writing in my paper diary. I'm on page 1294 for the year 2021. And I have been reading the introduction to the autobiography of Mark Twain, edited by Harriet, Elinor Smith, and editors of the Mark Twain Project. This is volume 1. I got volume 2 and 3 over here. I got volume 2 today in the mail. I've been looking for volume 2 used at some thrift store or a book nook, but it never came in. So since I've been reading a lot about Mark Twain lately, I decided to get it. It was only $15, and I already had volume 3. I had volumes 1 and volume 1, but I didn't have volume 2 of the autobiography of Mark Twain, the complete authoritative edition. So I figured that I would read the introduction tonight, since I've been in a Mark Twain kind of place lately, because as you all know, I've been reading this book by Brooks, Wyck Brooks, The Ordeal of Mark Twain, a little biography. This was published in, I think, in the 30s, 1920. This was written by, and I got out to, well, today I also got in the mail. I found out that Brooks had written an autobiography, and I got this in the mail the other day, The Days of Phoenix, the 1920s I Remember by Wyck Brooks. And I've been reading this. He was an editor of a literary magazine called, it says here, it was called the Seven Arts. And then he was also an editor for the New Republic. These were literary journals, and they also discussion of politics and social issues and things like that. I suppose they were kind of progressive in their day. So I was reading that, and I already had a biography on Wyck Brooks by James Hoops, The Search of American Culture. So I've been reading these, and then I was also been looking at a biography of Mark Twain, A Life by Ron Powers. So I was kind of looking at this, and when I'm not reading my Christian books or writing in my diary, but now I have the complete authoritative autobiography of Mark Twain. As you all know, I'm really into autobiographies, memoirs, journals, since I keep a journal. These are how I keep. This is volume 2 of the month of December 2021. Next month is January 2022. I'll start on page 1. And hopefully I'll live to the end of 2022. But we never know when the Lord will come. especially right now when this new virus is spreading and killing people. The plague is taking a new manifestation. So yeah, I'm writing in my diary, reading the introduction to the authoritative edition of Mark Twain. This thing's almost, it's just, this is almost 700 pages. So you have almost about 3,000, I say at least 3,000 pages of his autobiography that he worked on for a number of years before his death. But he also wrote it with the condition that it was not to be published until 100 years after his death. Because I wrote these quotes down in my diary. He says, the difficulty of telling the whole truth in autobiographical narrative, the question of how fully he could tell the truth about himself, and especially to what extent he could confess what he regarded as his own shameful behavior, occupied him off and on throughout the work on the autobiography. So, obviously, if he's going to be completely frank and honest and tell the truth in his autobiography, he wanted to be dead after it was published 100 years. Now, I have to qualify that parts of it were published, but not the whole text until now. The ones who were the executors, or those who were in charge of his literary, I don't know what the word is, but the one who's control of someone's literary, I forgot what the word is, but you know what I'm talking about. They published selections, were edited parts of the autobiography, but not the whole complete text. This is the complete authoritative edition. So you have Mark Twain and all his frankness and honesty, and so I've always been kind of curious about it since I heard about it a number of years ago that was being published, and since I am a big, as you all know, I have always been into Mark Twain since I was a boy, reading Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, Life on the Mississippi, Innocents Abroad, Roughing It, Life on the Mississippi, his Letters from the Earth by Mark Twain, I always keep by me, and Mark Twain, Roughing It in the Sandwich Islands, Hawaii in the 1960s. And I just got this from the Book Nook a couple of weeks ago, The Complete Works of Mark Twain, Defense of Harriet Shelley. These are essays and little things that he wrote. He was